I'm Fletcher. I work as a BBC Sport presenter on TV sports news, so working on bulletins like the 10 o'clock news, the sport on the 10 o'clock news at the weekend. I'm also on the news channel, BBC World News, which is the channel that you don't see in Britain, but whenever you go abroad and stay in a hotel room, you'll see the sport bulletin. So working on all sorts of sports right across the BBC bulletins. I think the main thing being a good sports journalist is initially having really good ideas, programmes right across the board, radio, television and also online. It's all made up of ideas, and you need to have good ideas and have the contacts and the work ethic to try and dig for those ideas. So it may be something investigative, or it may be just a straightforward interview with your big star at the right moment when they're in the news. You just need to sort of have those ideas and know how you want them to be played out in the programme. So is it an interview, or where are you going to film? What's the item going to look like? And if you've got those ideas, I think you're quite a long way there to being a good journalist, whatever story it is. Yeah, the 5 things that I would say for someone who's starting out, who wants to get into media. The first thing, I guess, would have to be ideas. All programmes are made up of ideas. And say for a live programme, the sort of live programmes that I work on, they'll be discussed in a production meeting before the programmes go out. And if you can contribute to those meetings, putting in ideas, some of them might be bad, but if you can try and get some good ones and get something on, that really helps, particularly if you're just starting out. It helps you get noticed in those meetings. So ideas are crucial. The second thing I'd say to get on in media is to have a really good work ethic, because often programmes go out and it's people who've worked really hard and maybe gone the extra mile just to get that interview, to get it out on air. The number of times I've worked in different places and people have done work experience and they've turned their noses up at certain jobs, maybe fairly lowly jobs in the hierarchy of a programme, but that's where you start. And that really doesn't help, because you're just not going to get noticed and you're not going to get on. You need to be able to do all the jobs. People who are coming sometimes, they want to be on telly, they want to be reporters, they want to be presenters straight away. And that probably won't happen for a year, 2, maybe 5 years. But you have to do those jobs at the bottom of the hierarchy to get to the stage with the jobs that you really want to be doing. The third thing I'd say for getting on and progressing in media is have some sort of vision of where you want to be in a year, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years' time. And maybe even write it down, the sort of things you want to be doing in that time. I know 10 years seems like a huge time away, but it's quite good to have some sort of focus, and that can really act as a bit of an anchor in the media industry. It's changing all the time. Now you can change those views, but I think it just gives you an idea of what you want to be doing, what you need to do to get to those aims. And so you may have a few things you need to tick off, you may need to do a few courses, you may need to do a journalism course. And having an aim for a year or 5 years written down means that you can tick off those things, write a list of other things you need to do as you get to each stage, but be prepared to change your view for the next 5-10 years, because media is changing all the time and programmes change all around you. The fourth thing for me, I think that's very important to do, is to be prepared to move about and go out of your comfort zone. So move about in jobs. So if you're in one job for a couple of years and you feel you're not getting the chances that you should be getting, look for other jobs. You need to be prepared to look all the time for other things. And actually, starting a new job does take you out of your comfort zone. It can be quite difficult, but it's a great way to progress, moving about. If you stay in a job for 2 or 3 years and you're not getting the chances, you've probably been in that job for too long. And the fifth thing for me, and this is one of the most important things for me, whatever level you're at in your career, I think it's got to be that don't take yourself too seriously. You've got to relax, because if you're too tense, particularly when you're on air, you'll never produce your best work. At the end of the day, we're not surgeons, we're not doing something where if you slip and make a mistake, someone dies or anything like that. The worst that can happen is you can look like a bit of a fool on air, and that's actually not that bad. So by taking that attitude with things, work hard, be serious about what you do, but don't be too serious, because you can crack the style and stop you performing at your best.